Welcome to Joy in Teachings, why teaching is the best and worst job ever. My name is Dr. Tiffany Carr, and I am admittedly in a love-hate relationship with teaching. At this point in my career, I feel like I have earned the title of veteran teacher. I, perhaps more than most, have packed a whole lot of different experiences into the years I have been a teacher. I have taught at 14 different schools, albeit half of those were my first year teaching, and yes, there is a story there for another time. I have taught elementary, secondary, undergraduate, and graduate studies. I have shared classrooms, traveled between schools, and been completely isolated. I have worked with countless numbers of principals and professional learning communities. It's been a journey, to say the least. Perhaps you can relate, and sometimes I am a bit jealous for those who can't. But all those experiences have informed my position at this moment, which is no matter what your teaching experience, where you teach or how, teaching is the best and worst job ever. All right, here's my back in the day spiel. When I started teaching, we used overhead projectors. There weren't smart boards, and students didn't have cell phones in their back pockets. We definitely didn't have VR headsets, video conferencing capabilities, or even Wi-Fi. Gasp. My point, yes, I have one. The environment in which we teach has changed drastically since I began my career. However, if you think about it, has how we teach changed with it? Not really, and not for a very, very long time. Right now is an exciting time. There are many opportunities for students to learn and explore. The level of knowledge available to students at their fingertips is astonishing, and yet most schools still operate under the same education framework as was in place when our grandparents were in school. Keeping it old school literally is doing a disservice to our students, and this is one of the ways that teaching can be the worst job, even though it's the best. Teaching is great. You get to be a part of your students' story, share in their successes, and lead them toward greatness. You see how much your belief in them can change how they see themselves. And on a regular basis, you get to have some very funny and interesting conversations with young people. Like that time when the student told me about her pet chicken that sleeps under her bed. It's a pretty good gig. However, most teachers aren't in a position to really dictate how they teach. I mean, they get to choose what they are doing each day, mostly, but can you choose to blend your subjects so that students aren't having to take off their math hats to put on their history hats? Can you spend a day totally immersed in a subject, exploring the impact of your curriculum? Can you go outside when you want? Can you follow a tangent that might lead to more engaged learning? Can you take a break to motivate students to be responsible digital natives? Can you let your students follow their passions? Can you really, when you think about it, teach how the students deserve? For most teachers I talk to, the answer is no. This year, for example, my homeroom was very opinionated when it came to standardized testing. They wanted to get it over with quickly. They didn't believe it was a good snapshot of who they were, and most importantly, they weren't very motivated to do well on them. Enter me, a teacher who has been through this a lot, and for the most part secretly was in total agreement with my students. However, I found myself in a position of opposing my students and defending the tests, basically being a bit of a hypocrite, and doing so because right now we teach a certain way, and as a teacher right now, I have to work within that framework, and I lost sleep over this that night. The more we teach, the more we find that we are existing within a system that doesn't quite make the best sense, and that isn't quite preparing students for the world they are entering after school. There are some exceptions, and I'm hoping there's more to come. And the kids, well, they are the best and worst. Yep, I said it. We want to see them succeed on a level deeper than just because it's our job. We lose sleep over them, worry about their well-being, and wonder what they are up to when they're not at school. We believe in them when they don't believe in themselves, and there is not much that feels as warm and good as helping a student achieve what they thought was impossible. We love them like our own because they are our kids. But they are kids, and eventually if you teach long enough, you are going to get your heart broken. When that kid you stay late after school with each day to work on homework, that kid that you sneak a granola bar to each morning because he's hungry, that kid who told you all of his personal baggage and you have sympathized with and supported every way you can, does something undermining and disrespectful. When he falls off that path you have created, it hurts. It feels personal, and you have to let it feel personal, knowing that he's just a kid and he still needs you and your support, maybe even more now. It's the nature of teaching, the heart-wrenching truth of teaching, that when you care deeply about your students, you open yourself up for some pain. The key is to not let it close you off and to move forward knowing you can and do make a positive impact in ways both seen and unseen. So what do? We maximize the good because it is really good. Celebrate the accomplishments, big and small. Remind ourselves that we can never see the full impact of what we do each day and believe that we are making a positive difference. And then we minimize the bad because it has the potential to be really bad. Cut yourself some slack. Know that each day offers new opportunities to reteach and rebuild. Take care of yourself. You are doing more good than you even know, and you are no good to all your students if you let yourself burn out. In the end, we take the good with the bad because we believe in what we do and we know that we can make a difference. This is what Joy in Teaching is all about, providing the tools, resources, and support to get through the bad so that we can relish in the good and continue to be strong, empowered educators.